For those who fought in the Battle of Britain, it was a battle for survival. For the free world, it was a breathless moment in history. For failure would have plunged mankind into a new dark age. Never have so many owed so much to so few.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Tonight I'm doing Spitfire issue 71. But my co-host will be P40F20.
Right, Eagle Squadron. Here we are once again ready to go toe-to-toe with the Hun. So man your kites and let's get airborne. Over to you, Captain Langley.
Thank you, P40F20. Right, no comment at the moment. Right, I'll just change my camera angle. It's on there. Oh. I just remembered the issue. Right.
Right, tonight, folks, we are doing issue 71, the fuselage frame and rudder controls. And we can get on with the parts checklist, Adrian, whenever you are ready.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, sugar. Got the other parts here. Not the actual package I'd require. Oh. Cool. Oh, sugar.
Looks like we have quite a bit of work that we're going to be doing tonight on the tail end of the aircraft. Adding some pieces of framework. We're finally going to be putting those 3 motors on that W-shaped bracket in the back and some actuators for the 3 motors. Looks like a couple of actuating rods probably going from the 2 geared motors back to attachment for the elevator and rudder.
Sorry, I just had to quickly find the parts. Right.
Okay, if you're ready, we'll get on with the parts checklist. First, we have 7101 inner fuselage frame left.
That looks like that one there.
Indeed it does. And then we have its mate, 7102, inner fuselage frame right.
That is on there.
That's it. Then we have 7103, a cover.
That is this one here, and it feels plastic.
That was but my guess is what it would be.
Yeah, because it's got some like detail in it.
Mm-hmm. Then we have 7104, which is a frame with parts A through D on it. So those should all be plastic.
Yep. A, B, C, D.
Mm-hmm. Then 7105, rudder control vertical, which is one of the wire rods.
Yes. Both things going right, and up there it's got a slight kink on it.
You've gone buzzy, Adrian.
Right, okay, give me a second.
Okay.
Is that better?
That's much better. Next, we have 7106, which is rudder control horizontal. I'm assuming that they actually mean the elevators for this one.
Yes.
That would make more sense. Then we have 7107, which are 11 2x4mm PM screws, one being spare.
Let me just package up. There's 11 here. It could be just they're both sets of screws slightly separate. Right? 3, 6, 9. Yes, 11.
Okay.
Basically, both these types of screws basically in separate packaging.
And then 7108, 5 2x3mm KM screws, one being spare.
Yes.
And I believe you're also going to be needing the leftover sprue tree from the last issue, which has a couple of clamps on it.
Yes. I'll probably not fit those on stream. I'll probably do those later.
All right, if you're ready, we'll go to step 1. Take the fixing plate D from frame 7006, supplied with the previous issue. Check the fit of the two studs beneath the horizontal rudder frame, well, horizontal stabilizer frame actually, 6801, circled. Use a little glue to fix plate D in place so that the cable for the tail light is held in place, as shown in the inset right. I would think it would probably also be a good idea to make sure that there's a bit of slack when you do that, so that the rudder will be able to swing freely both to the left and the right. It might also be easier to do this step with the tail framework removed from the fuselage.
Yeah, it could be. If when I fit it, I'll probably fit it like the tailwind going that angle, because that's
Yeah, to make sure they can swing fully to the right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll leave that end afterwards because that's a bit tricky shot to try and get it on the camera. Because I've pre-screwed all the tail wing on. So I'm not going to physically show that step.
Alrighty, then we'll move on to step 2. Take the motor assembly from issue 67, fit it into the model assembly, tabs on the side of part 6402 fit into recesses in the fuselage frame parts 6301 and 6302 so that the screw holes are aligned. The motor cables should all run towards the front of the model.
I'll put that down now. I saw it a moment earlier on before doing the show. Oh, I'll put that on. Don't tell me it's...
You put it in a safe place and you forgot where that safe place is, eh?
Yes. I hope we didn't fall off the back of the show, basically.
I've been storing mine in the framework, in the place where it goes. So I figured that would be a nice, safe place to keep it.
Sorry, I thought it on the show. I just quickly found it.
Oh, good.
Guess what?
Excellent.
Guess where I actually ended up putting it.
Where did you put it?
Well, can you see something in that picture? What's that?
I'm not sure what I'm looking at,
Well,
Adrian.
that's the wing. What have I got on my hand? I put it on the wing.
Oh, you did? It got kind of lost? I get you.
Yeah, I put it with the aircraft. With the aircraft, because I knew I needed to lift it down.
Kind of got lost in in all the other stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I'm going to quickly untie all the cables.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to needing that circuit board.
Yeah, it would have been nice if you could have had the circuit board. Oh, now plug this cable in. By looking at the next issue, it's shame we didn't receive the circuit board before the next issue, basically.
Mm-hmm. Still nothing in the chat.
Okie doke. Right. Don't physically tell us how to feed the cables in, but
Just have them going towards the front of the airplane, over to where the circuit board's going to be, yeah. And it should drop in there nicely.
I'm going to move that cable around there.
It looks like the cable from the tail light is going to go over the top. So you don't have to worry about that.
I'm just altering the motor wires. The rear one basically is actually coming beside this side of the engine against this side of that motor, beside this motor, not underneath.
Right.
I was pushing it down. It was underneath. I thought, actually, let's move it to one side.
Yep. And if you're happy with the way it's sitting, we can go to step 3. Fix the motor support plate 6402 in place using 4 PM 2x4mm screws, as indicated by the blue arrows in the illustration.
I'm just looking up some information.
Now you're growing a bit buzzy again, Adrian.
Am I again? Oh. Oops. Oh. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better, yeah.
Right. Hang on, I need to move a little bit higher. I'm going to put these screws in so far. When I got them all in, then go around, tighten them all up.
Mm-hmm.
those 4 screws.
Okay, then we're ready to move on to step 4. Take the motor attachment A from frame 7104. Check the orientation of the shaft of the motor 6501 as shown in the inset left, and fit part A onto the shaft as indicated. While you're at it, you might want to cut part D off the fret as well, because you're going to be needing that for the next step.
Right, part A. Let me get the same layout of the image.
Yeah, it looks like the end with the little hole in it should be towards the right side of the aircraft.
I'm going to cut off all 4 pieces and mark down A, B, C, and D, basically.
Mm-hmm. From the orientation, it looks like this is going to be the actuator for the elevators.
Right, part A.
That goes on the motor most towards the front of the aircraft.
Yes, so basically that goes that way around.
Yep, that looks good. Now in step 5, take the motor attachment D from frame 7104. Ensure that the shaft of the motor 6701 is correctly oriented, and fit part D onto the shaft as indicated. This one looks like it's going to be with the little hole aimed toward the left side of the aircraft, so then it should be the one that actuates the rudder, I believe.
Right, and that's that one.
All right then. Step 6. Take the wire rudder connector 7105. The cranked end fits into the hole in the tab that protrudes through the side of the rudder 7001 as shown circled in blue. The connector runs underneath the frame 6802 so that the other end can be fitted into the hole in part D from frame 7104 as shown circled in red. As I thought, this part D is definitely the rudder actuator.
Right, and slot into that one. Okay, both ends are slotted in nicely.
Alrighty. On the other side of the model, one end of the connector 7106 is fitted into the hole in part A from frame 7104 as shown circled in red. The connector runs under the frame 6802 and the other end is fitted into the hole in part 6904 as shown circled in blue. So yes, that would be the elevator actuator.
Right, and it doesn't matter which way around it goes.
Now, It shouldn't make any difference at all.
I need to move the aircraft around. Right. I'm going to put it into the motor first off. And slot it into the other end.
I know it's difficult for everybody watching to really be able to see clearly what Adrian is doing, but the part he's attaching the other end of the rod to, in this case, is the one with the brass rods sticking out of both sides.
Yeah, the metal rod's going in there, and the other end is popping into there. Yep, that one there to that point there.
Alrighty. With that completed, we can go on to step 8, which is to take part C from frame 7104, and fit it onto the center motor of the motor 6601. Note the orientation. The elongated side of part C points to the right-hand side of the model blue arrow. The cable L5 runs over the top of part C. Well, we're getting a little bit closer to finding out what this middle motor is going to be doing.
Yes.
The only thing I can figure at this point is that it rocks the tail wheel, but what for, I don't know.
Yes, that's a very good question. Right, that's sitting on there loosely.
Okay, now in step 9, we take the cover part 7103 and fit it over the top of the 3 fittings A, C, and D from frame 7104. Screw holes on the part 7103 align with screw holes in part 6402. As indicated, the central tab circled in blue tucks under the connector 7106, blue arrow. The cable L5 runs over the top of part 7103.
Basically, what?
Basically, this will keep the 3 actuators on the motors in place, and it looks like it'll also help guide the wire to where it needs to go. And oops, it looks like we had an elevator malfunction.
Yeah, it knocked off. I don't know why they couldn't sort of like tell you to plug it into there, then put that on, then move the arm, go across. Right.
And then once that cover is on, in step 10, we fix part 7103 in place using 2 PM 2x4mm screws so that the ends of the connector wires and parts A, C, and D are held in place. The taillight cable L5 70-11 runs over the top of part 7103 between the two pegs as shown by the blue arrow.
Get one screw in. And I see that cable's come out again.
Well, it looks like in the next step, we're going to be doing something to take care of that problem, Adrian.
Back in place again.
All right. Now we move on to step 11. Take part B from frame 7104 and identify the fixing point on the right-hand side of the rudder frame 6801. Fix in place with two PM 2x4mm screws as shown in the inset. And it looks like that, they don't tell you, but it looks like that actuating rod gets trapped by this part. I'm glad they're putting it on with screws so you can take it off if you need to.
Yeah, there's another slot, so we might end up fitting another rod in between, because if you look at it, you've got a groove there and a groove there. You've got two grooves.
Well, it
And
could be
rod,
that. Yeah, it could be the racker rod for the landing gear. I don't know.
Yeah, so unless they've not bothered doing that one, because I need to go and fit the other rod onto there, because when you thought already put that plate on.
Yeah.
So it looks like we might end up taking some of these screws out to get the other rod in, unless it's part of the job we're not going to end up doing. We won't know until...
We won't know till we get there.
Yes. To make myself easier to see, I'm going to move part of the tail off.
Yeah, if you take that horizontal framework piece off, that'll make it a lot easier.
Yes. For you lot to see what I'm doing, and it's easier for me to see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Still nothing in chat.
Right, that's one screw in so far. Grab the other screw.
We've got our first bit of chat from Matthew Borham.
Hello, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. Evening, friends. Got my 50th birthday Sunday on the 8th. Well, happy birthday to you, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. Okay.
Okay, on to step 12 then. Take the second part D from frame 7006 and check the fit on the two pegs on the top part of 7103. Glue in place so that the cable 7011 is held in place. That may be another thing you might want to be holding off on for now.
Yeah, I'll take these parts off later. Right, let's feed that cable down there.
And then in step 13, ensure that the connector L5 on the end of the taillight cable 7011 is threaded into the interior of the model with the other cables from the motors M5, M7, and M8.
Yeah, I just done that.
Okay. Then we can go on to step 14. Take the left side fuselage frame 7101 and check the fit against the lower left side fuselage frame 6301. Ensure that the screw holes are aligned. The tab at the front end of part 7101 goes behind the screw hole in part 6301, as shown by the red arrow. The screw hole at the rear of part 7101 goes in front of the hole in part 6301, as shown by the blue arrow.
I'm just quickly screwing the tail wing back on. And I'll move my aircraft around to get it in camera shot.
Another bit of chat here from Matthew Borham. Captain Langley is my girlfriend's abbreviated surname. Well, how about that?
Okay, that peg there goes behind that screw there.
Yep.
So let's slot that like so. Okay. Now, I believe now we might be using some KM screws.
That's possible. Let me go on to the next step. Yes, indeed. Step 15, use 2 km 2x3mm screws to fix the fuselage frame 7101 in place as indicated by the red arrows.
I'm going to be locating that screw in so far. I'm going to move over to the other one. And putting that one in. Right, they're nicely gently tightened.
Okie doke. Then we can move on to Step 16. In the same way, fit the right-hand fuselage frame 7102 in place on the other side of the model with the tab at the front end of part 7102 behind the fuselage frame 6302, as shown by the red arrow. And then, of course, the blue arrow is indicating that the other screw hole would go over on the outside.
Yeah, same again. Slot that in behind there.
Yep.
And slot that in place.
And then in step 17, fix part 7102 in place with 2 km 2 by 3 millimeter screws, just as you did on the other side.
You shouldn't actually have instructions say copy the other side as a mirror image.
Well, they probably have a certain amount of space they have to fill in each magazine. So some of the instructions get dragged out a bit longer than they really need to be.
Yes.
Although it might have been better if they had us put on this side first, the left side second, because now you're going to have to turn around the whole model again for the next step.
Yeah, they didn't think about people building it, did they? It's lucky it's half-scale model you're working on.
Yeah. So step 18, finally return to the left side of the model and fix the upper edges of the fuselage frame 7101 and 7102 together using 2 PM 2 by 4 millimeter screws. Well, at least they do seem to be doing a good job of securing all the metal framework parts together securely.
Yes. There we go.
And with that, that is completed work for this issue. The frame of the aircraft towards the tailplane is almost complete, with the motors and rudder connectors in place.
All right. Oh, I don't have a finished image, do we?
Nope. What you're showing is what it should look like, though.
Yep. And that was actually showing us a finished image normally what we've done. It's probably so many steps and it basically uses up so many pages. That's why they're sometimes showing us a finished image model. It's basically to fill up that page. And that's your next parts.
Okay. For issue 72, your next set of parts: cockpit support frame, upper left and right wing frames, motor extension cable for everyone who's been worried about when that's going to come. Guess what? It's here. And guess what else we're going to be getting? I know all you cable on a cable fans will be thrilled that we're going to be putting yet another cable on a label. And there are also some assorted screws.
And it looks like 3 different types there.
At least 3 different types, yes indeed.
Yeah.
And we've got a bit more chat from Matthew Borum, shortened for Malan. And again from Matthew Borham, I still need a replacement issue 36. Well, I hope you get it sometime soon, Matthew.
What, for the Spitfire, is it?
Well, I'm guessing that's what he needs it for. Well, Captain Langley, you've done it yet again. You and the lads have given Jerry a damn good thrashing. Off now to debrief and then tea and caramel wafers for after.
I'll tell you what, in the aircraft, we've got 1 cable with no label on it. And that's a 4-core.
I think you're freezing up, Adrian.
I wonder if we're going to end up getting labels put on that one. That would be funny.
Another bit of chat from Matthew Borham. Is that extension cable for the propeller cable? I would think so, Matthew. I would think so. That's the only thing I think we're going to need an extension for.
Yeah, it looks 2 cornery, so yes, that's what I believe it could be. I'm probably fine again. Try out the most. Double check that extension cable could be working.
Or do we also need one? I think we also need an extension cable actually for the cockpit lighting, if come to think of it. That might be possible.
Might be. Or it might be enough. That is a question.
Well, remember the circuit board's going to be going back about mid-fuselage.
Yeah, because we've got the open space in that framework basically on the.
Yeah, that's where the circuit board's going to go.
And are we going to have a cover basically if we need to actually double check that circuit board? Or question is, it could be a switch in there we might have to turn on. That's why they got a magnetic connection there. We won't know until we get that stage. That is a question.
Yep. Probably won't know that till next month at the earliest, I guess, because we certainly aren't getting a circuit board this month.
No, we won't know until we get next 4 issues.
Well, now we've got a bit more chat rolling in. Another from Matthew Borham. My girlfriend is Filipino. And one from Dave Mack, also known as Not Chris. Good evening, Eagle Squadron. Sorry I'm late. Well, sod off, Not Chris. If you're late, you're late. Goodbye. Just kidding. And another another bit of chat from Matthew Borham. I had a delivery yesterday, 63 to 66. Well, you're just running a tad behind, but at least you have Adrian's videos to fall back on to see how things are done.
Yeah, so another view as someone else is trying to build the model. Even basically you're not sure how to do it, or you can always watch other people doing it and see how they're doing it and then work out yourself.
And another bit of chat from Not Chris. How did you find issue 71, Adrian? I think you found it in the shop, didn't you? And then the package did arrive, so you've got 2 of them. That's how he found them.
Good answer, SPITFIRE. I think he meant another way.
Really? I never would have thought.
Yes. It's like bit tricky.
And Dave Mack is laughing his ass off.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now if we can get Adrian to stop laughing.
Thank you, SPITFIRE, for you.
No problem, Adrian. Glad to help out.
Watching so far. And everyone else is watching as well. And people commenting. Yeah, you might find some people might find that stage slightly a bit tricky. Until you come to it yourself, you won't know.
Yeah, that one actuator wire kept popping off on you till you got that clamp on it.
Yeah, so everyone's actually way behind. They can see how people are doing. Like, hang on. So what's the point of me putting that part on? Well, I might have to take it off again to do that part. Make it easier for me to do it.
And another bit of chat from Matthew Borham. My X-Wing is 90% complete. Need 2 replacement parts for that too. How are you finding that model, Matthew? I'm horribly disappointed in it myself. And another bit from Dave Mack. I found 71 tricky. Issue 72 is going to be good. Well, that's good. Thank you for that, Not Chris.
Yeah, that could be another long issue to do.
Yeah, looks like, yeah. Well, we've had some short ones, so now we're going to have some long ones.
Well, yeah, now you get so many short ones. The next one you get a really long one.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes what's in the building, it sort of thing. As we say, you get some tricky ones and some easy ones.
Yeah. I would have thought, though, they would have had us put that 3-motor bracket in a bit sooner, but because a couple of those earlier issues were a bit short.
Yeah. Well, shame, basically, you could have given the screws when we fitted the last motor, fit that in then.
And then put it in, yeah. That's what I was expecting.
It would have made this issue slightly shorter.
Yeah. And another bit of chat from Dave Mack. It makes a change to do more work on it. Well, don't worry, it'll probably slow down again. It's sort of like a roller coaster, up and down and up and down.
Yes. We might get one magazine where the front to back covers all instructions. You never know. You won't know until you get to that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you everyone for watching, and SPITFIRE, thank you for your assistance tonight.
No problem, Captain Langley, sir.
And goodbye from all of us.
Adios. See you next time.
Yeah.